Randy, tell me about this. We're going to talk about the 9 power-packed sessions for band, choir, orchestra, and general music teachers. The keynote is me. That's the smallest part of this whole thing, but I'm again honored to kick it off. And then we'll be talking about the next session is what we learned from Jarritt. And I'll just read the synopsis real quick. If people don't know and don't necessarily, we're talking about Jarritt in such high regard. Jarritt Sheel, one of the great minds behind this workshop since it started in 2020, died suddenly in 2022, but left a strong legacy and shaped our thinking, especially in his expansive view of how hip-hop could interface with traditional music education, i.e., band, choir, orchestra, jazz, general music. We'll unpack some of his ideas and his influence. This is more of a panel discussion I think we're talking about doing.
Yeah, it's going to follow you. I mean, I just want to say about you, Manny, I smile every time I look at your logo, Hip Hop Can Save America, because it's so over realized, right? That's what I love about it.
Right.
For the people watching, I actually got permission to use that logo because it just makes me smile all the time. But this
I appreciate
idea,
that.
You say hip hop can save American people, it's kind of an eye roll, but I actually believe it. So I'm in that crazy camp.
You're the other one.
Yeah,
Great.
No, but I mean, people come to this workshop, they want to experience some Black joy. They want to participate in the culture.
Yeah.
In addition to getting some tricks for their classroom, right? But
sure.
For a lot of teachers, like this is their one day to sort of like be around Black artists who are in the culture, and so they do that. But your role is going to be like just to remind us of this larger vision. Like why should we care about this, right? And I want to point people to your video. You and I can talk about using your video and stuff.
Sure.
But then that's going to kick into not just a kind of a tribute to Jarritt, because that could be 3 hours of people just sharing. I mean,
it was 3 hours. There was a whole, they did a whole presentation, a whole memoriam. Yeah.
I mean, Jarritt's had a big influence on a lot of people. And I didn't agree with Jarritt every single minute along the way.
Sure.
But he really got me thinking. And he always said, "Oh, you always get me thinking, Randy." We just shared that there was such a mutual respect, but he really did influence just my whole approach to like how I was going to put myself in this culture, like what I could offer to teachers, because I've been in music education for a really long time. So what I want to do is kind of pull out from various interviews, and also lots of people like Adam will be there, Adam Cruz. Vera Napati, do you know that's the name you should know?
Oh yeah, no, Vera. Yeah, actually, I've been waiting to be in the same place at the same time with her for a very long time. We haven't done it physically, but at least we got it virtually. At least it's happening. So I'm very happy.
She's amazing, and she also was really influenced by Jarritt. They really clicked, and so she'll be there, and other people. Actually, Jarritt's wife, Antonia, is going to be there.
Oh wow!
She's just a dear friend as well. So, but the point is we're not just going to sit around for people who didn't know Jarritt or had no connection to listen to us talk about him. We're actually going to say like, what kinds of larger issues did Jarritt point to, both controversial and sort of encouraging and affirming and soothing, that can help us going forward. So
dope. Yeah, that's going to be wonderful. And again, in that vein, I guess the next session, the power of the cipher. So there are artists that will be participating as well, not just us, nerdy brainiac types. We're gonna have some.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have some flavor in there. So maybe just a quick rundown of some of the performances we might see.
Yeah. So the other things are easy to talk about. Mother Nature. They were with us 2 years ago. This is a rap duo. They go in schools a lot, and but they perform all over the country. I mean, they're like hardcore, and they had a huge response when we had them. I think it was 2 years ago we had them, and people are asking to bring them back. So, but they've also, since they were in this workshop 2 years ago, they've been in Wisconsin a lot. They live in Chicago, working in classrooms, and so they're we're kind of formalizing what they're going to do, because they've got like a whole day's worth of stuff, and they're going to just focus on like 75 minutes or so. And I think it's going to be work in the cipher, like literally helping teachers that have never done any cipher, anything.
Yeah.
Like what would be the first thing you would do where kids could succeed and build that sense of community and the wisdom and the support and the beauty of the cipher and the circle.
That's brilliant. Yep. And necessary as well. So then, of course, there's a few more, and we don't have to go into everything in full detail. You can check.
Yeah, no, I won't. We've
I'm
got a
going to put,
schedule for
I'm also,
every other kind of teacher: band, choir, orchestra, general music. And oh, one thing I got to share: we have two amazing um, dance break dance guys. I mean, hip hop dance guys. Papa Kobina Priu, who is the founder of Hitters Collective here in Madison, and then Patricio Sierra, who's yeah, they're probably down there.
yep.
There's Papa Kobina, and there's Patricio. Patricio's from Buenos Aires. He
Mm,
lives here in Madison too. These guys have won like international competitions as as b-boys, and I said, music teachers don't think of breakdancing as that's not their jam, right? Like I don't know, like how would I use that in my class? They're
right.
actually show music teachers like how to look at breakdancing. What can you do in your class that's helpful to help kids hear the intricacies of hip hop, and then just teach them a little bit about like what's the difference between house versus street styles versus commercial, all this stuff about
Sure.
hip hop dance that I don't know about. These guys are great.
Yeah. And that's valuable. And first of all, it's always valuable when we bring in the other elements because so many of, as we saw and we talked about almost ad nauseum last year with the Hip Hop 50 celebrations, the lack of attention to some of the other elements. So I know that there will be folks who will be championing, bringing in the other elements to this. Obviously, music and dance are so closely tied, and you can communicate via dance, and you can dance without music, but you dance and music go hand in hand. So I think that's a great addition to the program, and we thank you for that for considering that element and the value there as well. So that's dope. And yeah, and then again, like you said, specific instructions whether you're an orchestra teacher, elementary, general music, I think you call it, the choir / chorus, and you have a beat making session as well, correct?
Yeah, Bill
Okay.
Rank, he's a middle school band teacher who came to this workshop. Another example of what you mentioned earlier. He came to this workshop last year and maybe the year before. I don't know. Anyway, he came. He'd been teaching like an electronic music class with middle school kids, but he just was really inspired by this workshop and he revamped his whole curriculum. And then when I saw it, I'm like, dude, you got to share this with other people because this is like golden, right?
Yeah,
This is stuff that you would pay lots of money for, and he's going to give it for free on Saturday. So
that's
he's
just
also, I mean, for teachers who understand this, it's like he can teach you how to do beat making with kids where you don't have a whole lab at your school, where all kids have is a Chromebook,
right. Yeah, we've had some friends also from Breakbeat Code, a couple of other
Yeah,
organizations that do that kind of work, and I've seen it. To just be able to say, how can we connect young people who may not be familiar with the computer except for, going to YouTube or doing the work on iReady or one of these platforms to say, oh no, you can make music with your computer, the way I was doing Fruity Loops, years ago and making remixes. So that's something they just don't see every day. They don't necessarily know that can happen. And when we see that working, Adam made a comment, as you can see on the screen there, about movement being separated from music. The separation of art from the body is a powerfully messed up tradition in music education.
yeah. Adam knows.
Yep. And shouts to Adam. Adam has unofficially been on the show. We had it one of the lost tapes. Let's just say one of the lost tapes. So we're gonna get Adam Adam back and Lamont over there as well.
Adam's got a lot to say. He's
Yep.
been thinking about these things for a long time.
I mean, we met at the global conference on hip hop education. That was co-chaired by myself and Dr. Tasha Iglesias, who you mentioned earlier. So what's great is that we get to be in person with some of these great folk, and then this Saturday we'll be able to be virtually connected, which the power of the internet that we learned again through those troubling times in the 2020, that blurry, whirly thing that we can barely remember. We found ways to connect with folks, and I'm glad that it's continuing in these days. So, with that said, I don't want to keep it too much longer. Randy, I really appreciate you coming through. What else do anyone who is interested in this program, specifically what might be happening in your district, or this particular workshop that we're doing this Saturday, need to know? What haven't I asked you? What are you working on? What could we? When are you dropping your mixtape? Whatever the people need to know. Let them know.
Well, I myself am always trying to do something with kids. my job is mostly working with teachers in the district, but I'm always filling in for somebody somewhere. So I'm working with kids every week, all year long. And I'm always looking for like the next cool project to see what kids can do. What can the average 11-year-old boy do with spoken word art over a beat and write a hook, that kind of thing. So I'm excited about that because it's a challenge for me, it's a challenge for me too, to keep pushing myself in this way. The workshop is not very expensive. It's only $50. And that includes not just being able to attend, but all those sessions are recorded. There's a ton of materials, a ton of curriculum, and links to the materials from the other workshops. Like you can go in and you can watch Jarritt teach.
The archive.
We have an archive. I mean, our goal is really to just get stuff out to people as cheap as possible. So we make this workshop. We've got students from Canada, from McGill, coming in Montreal because the collegiate rate is like $25. It's really cheap. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to once again post this in the comment section. If you're watching this later, you'll see it. If you're getting it now, get in on it. Like I say, this is aimed at educators, but as I always implore artists who want to learn or find opportunities to be more involved in what they can do outside of just being an entertainer, jump in on some of these sessions, jump in on some of these conferences. We have a lot of teaching artists who take part in these things, and you'll hear from people that are already doing it. You'll learn, hey, here's a way that you can get into, teaching kids or teaching, or teaching these workshops. It is another way that we can take our hip hop skill sets and provide value to the world. And I think that it's a great way it's a great opportunity to step into that arena if you haven't yet done so. So I encourage even artists, not just educators, to do that as well.
Amen.
Makes sense, right? We will link up 9 a.m. Central Time. Yeah. All right. So not good. The next hour for me to sleep. 9 a.m. Central Time to 3 p.m. It's an all-day affair. Check it out. The link's in the chat. You can look it up on WSMAmusic.org and follow our good friend Randy for all the things that he does in regards to teaching young people how to be, more musical in all the fun ways that hip hop can bring to the table.
Manny, thanks for all that you're doing. Your passion really it helps the rest of us, right? Like I just have to log on, listen to 10 minutes of you, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember why I care about this. So we all appreciate what you're doing.
I greatly appreciate the appreciation, and it's mutual. When it like I said, when it falls on good ears, and then I see y'all doing the work, and that I could play some part in that. It's just it's great. It's a community, man. We know that's what hip hop does, right? It's community, and we're all welcome to the table. Just come in with your authentic self. And hip hop is the most inclusive, welcoming culture I think that's ever been created in humankind. So I'm glad that we share that communal friendship, and we'll talk again Saturday.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, my friend.
Manny Faces. You sick for this one. Sick for this one. Sick for this one. Sick.